Well, I want to say thanks to Todd and Jennifer for having a business with heart for art. I really like that. I wish more businesses would do that. That's delightful. And I also want to thank Diane Graydon, who was the professional who put this together. And I'm so glad we met, and I'm so glad you made this happen. And I especially want to thank everybody who has come to support me and to see this place and to take an interest in my art. Thank you all. It really means a lot to me. Thank you. So I'm going to talk for a short period of time, and then I'm just going to open it to questions. I can't possibly talk about all of it, so I'm just going to give an overview and then let anybody ask questions that wants to. And I'm going to start with my own question, which I imagine would be the one most people would ask, which is, why are you doing this? Why are you making this?
Oh, no.
And I have a two-word answer, and it's smart suffering.
Smart suffering.
Smart suffering, as opposed to stupid suffering, which is what I do a lot of the time. So the first time I started making masks, Jim said to me, honey, these are so negative. You know, I don't see you this way. I mean, I don't see you as that old hag over there. I don't see you in this really negative way. Why are you doing this? And don't you have any happy ones? Can't you make something happy? And the answer is, to me, now, they all are happy because I've learned something from really every mask. I may not be in a happy place when I started it. In fact, I'm usually not. But by making the mask, I resolved something. And that's what I call the smart suffering. So I understand that the first noble truth in Buddhism is life is suffering. And I think one of the best opening lines of a book I've ever read is life is difficult. Scott Peck and the Road Less Traveled. And I also like that Carl Jung, the psychologist, said all neuroses come from our unwillingness to suffer, to bear necessary suffering. I bungled that up. Let me try that again. And it won't be the exact thing, but you will get the idea. All neuroses come from our unwillingness to do necessary suffering. It's when we block, when we do all the things to numb ourselves, to shut down. That's when we really get neurotic if we just can't deal with it. So this is my way of trying to unfold. I'm trying to unmask, to get to what is underneath. You know, I've also heard we suffer our way to wholeness. So in doing this, it's like maybe someday I'll be whole. Maybe. And the ways that we tend to block, the way I tend to block is I overeat. I watch too much TV. I do dumb avoidance things. I'll read some magazine I'm not interested in. I find a gazillion ways to avoid being me, being present, being now. And a lot of people drink or drug or, gamble or all these things. We all know those things. So at some point in my life, I thought I can do better than this. And I began thinking, what is it that I can do to reveal myself, to be more authentic? And I was fortunate to have really good friends, many of whom are here tonight, who have been supportive and encouraging. I've read a gazillion self-help books. We've been to seminars. We've done everything. And when I saw a mask for the first time, my friend Beverly had made this mask that was just amazing to me because it had golf tees sticking out of the base. It just looked prickly, And there was something about that that just took my breath away. And I realized I want to learn how to do that. So I I had a birthday coming up, and I thought, I'm going to give myself a present of learning how to make masks. So I invited Bev to come, and she, with a few girlfriends, and Jim, 9 women and Jim, spent a weekend together. And we made masks. And I was pretty astounded at the power of them. And after we made them, my friend Lucy took us to a dance studio, and we danced with the masks. And we would take them off and look in the mirror, and then we would dance and notice, how our mask felt to us. And it was for me a really evocative weekend. Something opened up in me. And what I saw is the other people did these masks that I thought were just wonderful. And mine, it didn't do much for me. And what I realized, I'd taken my mask and covered it with pictures of people that I love. Good concept, good idea. And it was okay, but what I realized is that's my exterior world. And what I really wanted was to go inward. I could see the power of using a mask to go inside. And in fact, some of the women had really powerful experiences with their masks. So I could see the possibility of it. So that's when I began delving in. And like I say, the first masks were kind of disturbing to Jim. But I kept on doing them, and this is what's happened. These have taken years to do because I only make a mask really when I feel the need to. So this is all my neuroses up here on the wall. It's a little bit all of them. No, not all of them. Okay. I've probably still got some in me, but it is a little bit like standing naked up here because every one of these is some part of me that needed work. And I still need work. And I like to hang the ones in my house that are still current and live for me. Others I don't need anymore. For example, the hag over there. I dealt with that part of myself when I was in my 50s and thinking, God, I hate getting old, And I'd go to the mirror and, And when I made that mask, I made her so ugly and horrible, and I just wanted to just get that feeling out. But after I made it, I could look in her eyes, and I see, it's my projection, but what I see is wisdom. And that it suddenly made it okay. And I began to write about, okay, there can be value in getting older. And would I trade, a pretty face for deeper living? And yeah. So I just don't have to use her anymore. I put her on a shelf. I don't really see her and engage with her so much anymore. And that's the way it is with each of these. The ones I am most burning with, I keep current. Like Blaze back here, the one with fire. She is my desire to burn with passion for living, to live as fully as I can live now, being all out there. And so I keep her out as a reminder of who I am when I kind of, go into my office and the computer grabs me by the ankles and I'm just sitting there, looking at all the stupid emails and reading another spam. If I see her, she helps me remember. So each of these affects me in some way or another like that. So I began to evolve from making these to wanting to show the process of unmasking, because I realized that that was an important thing happening. When I was learning to unmask myself, I wanted to make a mask to show that. So the first one that I did was over here called Unmask. She's over here.
This is core.
Yeah. Unmask was first.
Oh, yeah.
And she was kind of an accident because I'd made a pottery mask, a ceramic one. It wasn't very pretty, but first thing I'd ever done like that. I hung it on the wall, and the next morning I came in and it was in 2 pieces. It's like, okay, so I saved them not knowing what I would do. And later when I realized I wanted to reveal the unmasking, she was perfect. So I made a mask behind her, and that's about the process of revealing. And then after that I went to core. And core to me is, that's the white face back there. She is the utter essence of authenticity. It's like all these other neuroses, if I peel everything back, that to me is the best and the purest that I could be. And I'll never be like that. It's just, she's something to aspire to. To be without persona, without a mask, just be. So I think that wraps up really everything that I wanted to say. So I would like to hear questions. And here's one right here, Renee.
So the unmasking was the first one. And how long? I know it's been years, but how long ago was this process?
You know, people ask me that, and it's kind of hard to say. I think I made the very first one, which was probably Kitchen Goddess. And that's my second Kitchen Goddess, by the way. Every now and then I'll sell some, and then I'm always sorry afterward, and make another one. So she was, I think, 1995, maybe. And then somewhere, unmasking was probably, I don't know, 6 or 7 years ago, maybe. Core, maybe about, I don't know. I can't remember, to tell you the truth.
So for the last 15, 17 years or something,
Yeah.
you're doing it? Oh,
Yeah.
that's long.
Are all the masks your face?
Yes. Some of them were put directly on my face. I use that plaster strips, you know, like if you have a broken arm. You can buy it at Michael's. It's a roll of plaster, and you just cut it in strips. You put some Vaseline on your face, and then you put the strips on and form it, and then it dries, and you take it off and do what you want to do. The other kind, like Core and Blaze, I don't remember which other ones. I had a body cast made of my face, took a class and learned how to do that. And she's my model now, so I'm in a mold of her, and then a reverse mold. I can pour some plaster in and have an exact replica of my face. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like lost wax kind of.
Yeah.
Sort of.
Yeah. Fran.
So you have this mask, and it's like a blank canvas. So what's your first step in deciding what that mask is going to be?
Good question. I've learned to keep a few blanks around, you know, already made masks, so that when the impulse happens, I can just go get one. Usually I'll feel something stirring that's just not quite right, you know, and I'll think, I'm going to make a mask of that. And I don't know what it's going to be. Sometimes I'll go get the mask and just start and don't know quite. I'll have an idea.
A feeling.
A feeling, yeah. I'm trying to think of a good example of that one. See this furniture woman over here by Victor and Pat? That one, that was after Christmas one year. And I just had after Christmas blahs. It's like, oh gosh, what a lot of alderah and expense and commotion, and everybody's gone, and I just feel blah, and I feel like a piece of furniture in my own house. I just have no energy, you know, I'm not creative, and I'm never going to be creative ever again, I'm sure. And so, bingo, oh, there's a mask. So go with that feeling. So I feel like a piece of furniture. I'll make a mask that shows I'm like a piece of furniture. So then I just start thinking, how could I do that? And I began thinking, well, maybe if I just paint wood grain on the face, then I'll go from there. And I think the next thing I did was I made a trip to Habitat for Humanity and rummaged through drawers. You know, they have bins of hardware and stuff. And she just kind of came together after that. But that's a typical process for me.
So inspiration hits you, and then you kind of work with that.
Yeah.
How long does it typically take you from the inspiration to the final, or does it vary?
Well, it varies. I have a mask that I don't have here called Stone Woman, and I knew I was going to make a mask called Stone Woman, but I had no idea who she was in me or how I would do it. And for 2 years I sat with that idea. I've got to make Stone Woman. And we were about to go on a trip, a big trip, and just a few days before the trip, it's like, I've got to make it now. And I did, and she ended up looking like a piece of stone, and I still had no idea what this meant. And it's after I made her, and she was completely done, and this is what I typically do. After the mask is made, I will ask the mask, what do you want to tell me? And I just pretend that that mask can talk to me. And Stone Woman said, I am your heart of stone, and you need me. Because if you didn't have me, you would take in all the heartache of the world. And I help you steel up. I help you harden so that you won't just have compassion fatigue all the time. I help you deal with the world. So that's when I particularly remember speaking to me, but that's how they typically work. Craig.
So I don't know what it's called, but when a layman comes to an artist, has an idea and says, can you do this for me? Can you do this for me? I've got an idea or two.
Well, that's a good question.
What's that called? Commission?
Commission. I don't know what I would do. Here, all right. Good segue.
I won't charge you a thing for the idea.
Good segue. If anybody wants to take a class on how to make masks, there's a flyer over here. Okay, good. Probably, Craig, I would say, let's talk. What is it that you have in mind? And I would try to find out if it's something you could do yourself, and encourage you to do it yourself. And if you wanted to make a mask, I'd work with you about that. If you didn't, if you said, you know, this isn't, I don't know how to do that, I don't want to do that, would you just do it for me? I would consider. And I have no idea what it might be like.
Let's talk.
Okay. Yeah, Victor.
Here's a question completely out of left field, but
Okay.
I'm sure several people are thinking it. Why are so many of the masks framed in kitchen drawers?
Well, I'm glad you asked that. Okay, my honest answer, cheap. I thought, I wasn't making these for anybody except myself. It was the first thought, really, is how in the world can I frame these? Because for a long time, they were just bare masks. And I realized that I wanted them framed. That was going to be way expensive. And I had the idea, and I don't remember which one it was. It may have been Furniture Woman, that I could put a mask in a drawer. And then it came to me, perfect, because these are so private. It's like opening somebody's drawer, you know, and looking in at their underwear or something. So how perfect to have the mask in a drawer, because it's like things that are secreted away. So, okay, one more question. This will be the last. Ron.
Gym's a huge part of your life. When are you going to be internal and external and have two masks?
You know, that is so interesting, because this week, Jim and I were talking about a mask. I saw a poster of a right brain, left brain, and it was a brain. It was just a flat image, but it was an image of a brain that was all mechanical over here, and this one was just spewing color, and and I thought, I could do that with masks. I could do interior life, exterior life, two side by side as contrasts. Or I could do left brain, right brain, and put them all in one frame. So, timely question.
You're getting there.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's okay.
Oh, well, All right, I'll take these are the last two. So go ahead, Dave.
Not a question, just a comment. Gratitude for your willingness to share your process of becoming whole.
Oh,
Very lovely. Thank you so much.
And you had a question.
Do you have a favorite?
I do, and it's core, because She really is, and I don't own her. I sold her, she's on loan. But I'm thinking maybe I need to make one for me because I miss her a lot. Thank y'all so much. I really appreciate it.